The men's and women's basketball teams have put together standout seasons so far. Both are undefeated at home and look to continue that impressive feat this week. This is Capital City Sports. Welcome to this episode of Capital City Sports. I'm your host, Lauren Schwartz. The number 2 ranked women's basketball team has lived up to all of its preseason expectations. The Gamecocks sit atop the SEC with an overall record of 19-0 and a conference record of 7-0. The Gamecocks return home to face the unranked Ole Miss Rebels. Nick Jones was at Colonial Life Arena on Thursday night.
South Carolina comes back to Colonial Life Arena after 2 back-to-back SEC victories on the road. Early in this one, the Gamecocks attack the paint, and Coates feeds it down to Asia Wilson, and she makes the 2. South Carolina keeps it balanced in their shooting game as Tiffany Mitchell takes a shot from 3 range, and that's a bucket right there. Soon Ole Miss has possession, and Sessom drives it inside, but she's going to kick it out to Tori Lewis and makes the deep 3. Score is now 9-5. Mitchell continues to make an impact behind the perimeter, and Sessions swings it back to Mitchell, and you guessed it, that's another 3. Now let's fast forward to the second half with South Carolina still dominating. Asia Dozier feeds it down low in the post, and Wilson makes the easy 2. Now Tiffany Mitchell was having a day with her outside shooting, but this time she's going to drive it and slide through 2 defenders to make a shot in the paint. Mitchell again has the ball in her hands and drives it down the baseline, but kicks it out to Dozier, and that's another 3-pointer for the South Carolina Gamecocks, and the Rebels just couldn't keep up with the great shooting of this Gamecock basketball team. One player that led off the boards and made a huge impact on second chance opportunities was Elena Coates. Here she snags the offensive rebound and manages to make the shot while getting fouled. Here we have the same old song and dance, and we see Tina Roy fire one from deep range, and that's another 3. At the end of the game, South Carolina collected 7 3-pointers and proved to be too much for Ole Miss. South Carolina runs away with this one by a final score of 81-62. Wilson led the team with 17 points, and at the press conference, she talked about how playing Ole Miss improved the team's game.
I feel like Ole Miss is one of those teams where they have a lot of guards or the people undersized posts, and I feel like that's a challenge for us because of course we're not undersized posts, so it's kind of a challenge for us. So it helps us kind of, spread our game out, and I think that, and it is tough kind of chasing guards around off screens because that's something that we're really not used to. But I think it works out well for us because we can kind of adjust to that.
Elena Coates continues to make an impact in the post as she collected her 10th double-double of the season, and she now leads the SEC in that category. South Carolina travels to Texas A&M Sunday for another SEC road matchup. Reporting from Colonial Life Arena, Nick Jones, Capital City Sports.
The men's basketball team has made a drastic turnaround from a subpar record last season to an 18-2 overall record and a 5-2 conference record so far this season, putting them in 4th place in the SEC. The Gamecocks look to carry their momentum from their win earlier this week against Mississippi State into their second meeting with Alabama, who handed them their first loss of the season earlier this month. Edwin Santamaria was at Colonial Life Arena on Saturday night.
Edwin Santamaria down here at the Colonial Life Arena, where the Gamecocks look to take revenge against the Crimson Tide. Alabama handed the Gamecocks their first loss down in Tuscaloosa. Let's take it to the highlights and see what happened.
A sold-out Colonial Life Arena was on hand to support the Gamecocks. Let's listen to the passion that resonated throughout the arena. The game starts very competitive, where every basket is earned. Chris Silva had a block on Alabama's Shannon Hale. The Gamecocks strike first with a 3-pointer by Thornwell. Thornwell netted another basket off a nice bounce pass by Chris Silva. Riding off the passion provided from a sold-out Colonial Life Arena, the Gamecocks got off to a flying start. However, Alabama will get themselves back into the game by playing tough defense. Both teams were not going to let anything come easy, as Stroman steals the ball from Coleman, but Jimmy Taylor races down the court to block what appeared to be an easy layup. On the other end, Michael Kerr and Chris Silva denied Taylor's dunk. Michael Kerr was having none of that. Both teams continue to play tough defense, as each team struggled to make a basket. However, the Gamecocks will go on a run. Notice sinks the jumper, bringing the crowd back into the game. Here, Chris Silver makes the basket in heavy traffic. Chris Silver continued to be active, putting the offensive rebound and going up strong for the putback. Sindarius Thornwood would end the half for the Gamecocks with a three-pointer. Gamecocks would be up 35-26. Coming out of the half, the game continued to be physical, with every shot being contested. However, the Gamecocks would fight through as Alabama continued to play hard. Dozier started to impact the game. Here he grabs his own rebound and makes a tough shot. Alabama will make a push as Abusahan slams it in, but the Gamecocks will respond with a slam of their own. And that face by Petrevicus says it all. The Gamecocks would pull out the tough win, beating Alabama by 14 points. The Gamecocks improved to 19-2 overall and 6-2 in SEC play. In Frank Martin's press conference, he had this to say about the physical game.
But what a game, just hard, physical. Avery and I were just talking out in the tunnel there. That's old-time basketball there.
Michael Kerr led the Gamecocks with 20 points and 11 rebounds. UC out-rebounded the Crimson Tide by 8 boards. Next, USC will head to Athens to take on the Georgia Bulldogs. For Capital City Sports, I'm Edwin Santa Maria.
That is all for this edition of Capital City Sports. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at CCS on SGTV for all Gamecock athletic updates. For Capital City Sports, I'm Lauren Schwartz. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.